Hey, you guys are back. This is me, the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar, and welcome to Rajshri Food. Well, Dal Chawal is something. To me, I travel across the globe, and that's something that I miss the most. Well, I want to know in the comment section below what Dal Chawal means to you. To me, it's memory, it's nostalgia, it's something that I miss, I crave, I love. It's comfort food, and most of the time, it's not feeling homesick. It's feeling Dal Chawal sick. Well, today you've guessed by now, I'm making Dal Chawal, and it's not just Dal Chawal, I'm making Dal and Jeera Rice, because to me, that's ultimate. Let's begin. First things first, to make the dal is, of course, you need to choose the correct quality of dal and also the correct variety of dal. Well, you get numerous varieties. You get moong dal, chana dal, arhar dal, urad dal, lots of other dals. What I'm using for a classic dal, call it dal tadka, call it dal fry. This is arhar ki dal or tur ki dal or pigeon lentils. These need to be washed at least twice, thrice over. Once all the cloudy water becomes nice and transparent, that's where you soak it again for 20 minutes. Next is to add in a little bit of salt, a little bit of turmeric. Turmeric to begin with. Well, this is for that nice vibrant yellow color. And with this, salt. Now, there are societies that would profess that salt need not be added in dal. The dal kind of remains a bite raw and things like that. Well, to each house their own. If you are the ones who add salt, add it. If you are the ones who do not add it, avoid it. Simple. The next is to add in at least 2 times water. So if you've taken like a cup of the dal, you add in at least 2 times of water or 2 cups of water. This needs to be covered. The flame needs to be high, and this needs to be cooked at least under 4 whistles or till the dal is nice and mushy. Let's move this aside. Let this continue to boil and bubble. And on this flame, let's start making jeera rice. Very simple and very flavorful. Again, what's important in a jeera rice recipe is the rice itself needs to be flavored. Of course, we're going to add in multiple other flavors. We're going to flavor this with cumin seeds and bay leaf to begin with. Of course, it also has ghee. But what is important is to choose a variety which already is flavorful. Well, for this recipe, I personally am using KOLAM because this is a rice variety that's generally used in my house. Of course, when there are guests, we serve them basmati, but KOLAM is just perfect. What you need to do is wash this again at least twice, thrice over till the cloudy water kind of drains off. And then you need to soak this rice for 20 minutes in warm water. Let's begin with the first thing, and that is adding in desi ghee. Once the ghee kind of just begins to heat up, we're going to add in cumin seeds, lots of it, because the primary flavor of this recipe is jeera, because it's jeera rice, lots of cumin. Allow it to kind of splutter. Once that happens, and only once that happens, we're going to add in bay leaves. To this, I'm also going to add in the rice at this stage, which is been soaking for the last 20 minutes. What's important while making a recipe like jeera rice is frying the rice at this stage. What I'm doing is on high flame, of course in hot ghee and jeera and bay leaf, you just have to kind of stir fry it so that the water just kind of begins to evaporate, and that's what you're looking at. You will realize that the rice also starts sticking at the bottom. That's when you lower the flame and add in water. Now this is water at room temperature. What I had taken as measurement is 1 cup of rice. So I'm using 2 cups of water. Of course, a little more, a little less is subjective, but 2 cups is ideal. At this stage, I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of salt. What's important in this recipe is getting the quantity of salt correct, because that is going to be the base flavor for the rice. A teaspoon should be perfect, but again, as per your own discretion, you can add it, you can reduce it. That's completely personal. With this, you need to increase the flame and ensure that the water is roll boiling, which is very, very, very important at this stage because that will ensure that the rice cooks just perfectly. Once the water evaporates on top, which I will show you when and how, that's the only time when you cover it, lower the flame and continue cooking. Well, that brings us to the fourth whistle. And with this, of course, the flame. Allow the steam to settle completely. The pressure needs to subside, and once that happens, we'll open and have a check. Well, every household in India has their own peculiar recipe for a basic dal chawal, and that's actually the beauty of living in a wonderful agrarian country like India. Well, dal, chawal, whole wheat roti, sabzi, raita, papad, pickle, chutney. That's just a complete meal, and this one is also a meal in itself. If you can just throw in some vegetables, that's just complete. Once the water evaporates completely, you need to cover this, lower the flame, and allow this to cook in its own steam, which is also called dum cooking, for 12 minutes. With this, our jeera rice is done and ready. Of course, the flame, and you do not need to open this because the steam actually needs to settle so that the rice kind of becomes nice and fluffy. The next is to open the pressure pan and have a look because the dal has also settled by now. Well, the dal is just perfect. Now, if you need to kind of whisk this and break the lentils, you can do that. I know a lot of them who like eating lentils nice and like these, but I'm not the one to like this. So I am just kind of whisking it and making it a little smoother because that's how I personally like it. Whisk this nicely till it's smooth or till the consistency or texture that you desire. Keep this aside and remember the fact that the dal has salt and haldi already. Let's begin with the tempering or the tadka. On high flame, the first thing that goes in is ghee, of course. You can do this with, of course, oil as well or a mixture of oil and ghee. But to me, dal is just ghee. Once the ghee heats up, the first thing that goes in is mustard seeds, and I generally use black mustard. Once this begins to splutter, I'm going to add in cumin seeds. To this, I'm going to add in asafoetida or hing, and this is extremely important because this will aid digestion. To this, I'm going to add in curry leaves, washed, wiped, however you like. Just break them, snip them off. And with this, I'm also going to add in green chilies along with cloves of garlic. Just smash them. Well, if you're doing this for the first time, don't get over adventurous, don't get super excited. Easy. Allow this to splutter. To this, let's flavor this. Of course, you've added turmeric before, but I'm just going to add in a little in the tadka, and just little, not too much. And along with this, I'm going to add in red chilli powder. Well, this is the tikha variety or the spicy variety. You don't need a lot of color because this dal is predominantly going to be yellow in color. Once this is nice and hot, I'm going to add in the mashed dal. Well, dal is supposed to sound good. Of course, it has to taste good, it has to look good, but the tempering has to sound good, and that's very important when you get the tadka right. To this, let's lower the flame and add in some tomatoes. Well, this is optional, but I love tomatoes in my dal, and especially when I travel and come back home after those months of masterclasses and workshops and travel and things like that, my heart craves for a good dal chawal, and this is my absolute comfort food. Let's add in tomatoes, and along with this, I'm also going to add in coriander. Well, coriander leaves is another weakness of mine. Let's add in that as well. Let's be generous with coriander. One quick stir, and again, the consistency of the dal is something that you can decide personally depending on your preference or your family preference. If you like it nice and thick, this is just perfect for you. All you need to do is check for salt, and that's just there. Finally, a quick few boils, and your dal is done and ready. And now if you see, It's wholesome because you have jeera rice, you have dal. What else do you need? Maybe some poppadoms? Maybe, I don't know. With this, off goes the flame, and this straight goes on the dinner table. Do not wait for anything. This on the dinner table. With this, your dal chawal is done and ready, and this is not regular chawal, it's jeera rice. Well, all you need now is some achar and papad, and with this, the love story of dal chawal is complete. On that note, do not forget to like, share and subscribe, and for more such quick, easy, simple and stunning recipes, stay tuned.